All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're digging into a playbook that's all about a massive shift in thinking. How to go from being just a manager to becoming a real leader. It's called BDC Built Different, and its whole focus is moving away from just checking boxes and towards actually developing your people.
And this quote from Wendy Reeves, man, it just nails the whole thing. It's the core idea. You can't just demand excellence or track it on some report. It's something you have to grow, one person at a time, through coaching.
So you might be asking, if it's that simple, why is it so hard? Well, it's because every single manager out there is trapped in what we can call the manager's dilemma. It's this constant, brutal tug of war between what's screaming for your attention right now and what's actually important in the long run.
And this slide just lays that conflict out perfectly. Over on the left, you've got the daily whirlwind, chasing quotas, putting out fires, just juggling a dozen things at once. On the right, that's the stuff that really matters, building solid systems, creating a great culture, and unlocking the talent you hired. The trap is that most managers live on that left side, and that's a fast track to burnout and failure.
So how do you break out of that trap? Well, this playbook argues that the answer isn't to just work harder or longer. It's about building a completely new foundation for how you operate, based on what they call the 7 C's.
And look, these are not just some fluffy corporate buzzwords to stick on a poster. You got to think of them like gears in an engine. Each one has a specific job. It all starts with your character, who you are when things get tough, and it builds all the way up to coaching, how you make others better. It's a real, practical code for how to lead. And here it is again, that same idea just said a little differently. For most managers, this is a total identity shift. It's a mic drop moment, really. Your success is no longer about how great you are. It's about how great you can make every single person on your team. Okay, so the 7 C's are the what, the big idea. But how in the world do you actually do it? How do you take those principles and make them a real part of your day-to-day? Well, this is where we turn that chaos into a real, breathing culture. And boom, here it is, the weekly leadership rhythm. I mean, look how simple and powerful this is. Instead of just a messy, reactive week, every single day gets a theme, a focus, a purpose. Monday is all about commitment. Wednesday is for coaching. It creates a predictable structure that turns these big ideas into small, daily habits. Let's really dig into this to see how it works. We're going to zoom in on one day in particular, Wednesday, coaching day, which, by the way, the playbook says is the one day most managers totally drop the ball on. So on coaching day, the magic isn't just having a meeting. It's about asking the right kinds of questions. And notice these prompts. They have nothing to do with numbers or quotas. They're about confidence. They're about growth. They're about support. The goal here is to build up the person, not just to review their performance. And this right here, this is what it looks like in the real world. A team member is struggling. A typical manager just gives them a quick piece of advice and sends them on their way. But a true coach? A coach pulls up a chair and says, "Let's practice this together." You see the difference? It's not about fixing the problem for them. It's about building their confidence so they can fix it themselves next time.
So what happens when you actually commit to this rhythm, week in and week out? What's the big payoff? Well, it's so much more than just having a more organized calendar. You actually start to transform your entire team.
This is the kind of culture you create. A place where people feel safe enough to take risks, maybe even to fail and learn from it. An environment where getting better is celebrated more than just being perfect. And the coolest part? After a while, it becomes self-sustaining. Your team members start coaching each other. Now, if you're sitting there thinking, yeah, this all sounds nice and fuzzy, but what about the bottom line? Well, here you go. A 12% improvement in show rate. That is a hard number. It proves without a doubt that when you invest in building better people, you get better business results. The two are absolutely connected. So as we wrap this up, the big takeaway isn't that you need to go copy this entire system tomorrow. That's not the point. The point is the principle behind it. So I'm going to leave you with this question to really chew on. What is the one simple, consistent rhythm you could introduce that would begin to completely transform your team's week?